so just bear with me. Okay. Good evening and welcome once again to Ideas at Work and Beyond. I know what you're saying to yourself. You're saying, my goodness, it's been 3 weeks. Where has Marty been? Al Robinson has been holding down the fort, but it would appear that the sheriff is back in town.
Oh boy.
We're gonna have a little bit more right-leaning, clear-thinking view on things. And I feel a little bad for our guest this evening because she's really a non-combatant. You know, she is here to help. She is a Florence Nightingale of the greater Ridgefield area. She is here just to heal the sick and attend to the wounds and possible problems that people have. She's here to help. She's not here. She's not into this whole combat thing. But it has been about 3 weeks since I've had a chance to get some things off my chest.
Let it roll, homie.
And I want you to know how bad it is. We have some graphics here because today, of course, is where at least what's 100 minus 36? That would be 64. Thank you. 64. 64% of the people that actually pay federal taxes, because 36% of the people don't pay any federal taxes at all. So they don't even have a skin in the game here. But for those 64 of us that do, today is tax-paying day, April 15th. It's a very depressing day. But there's even a more depressing day. And Bob, I think we had this graphic, the Tax Freedom Day. Now this is a day. This is a group that puts together this information, the statistics from the Tax Foundation Group. They've been doing this since 1837. If I'm reading, 1837. And they basically tabulate all the taxes you pay, federal, local, state, and federal tax. And they rate the states 1 to 50. And lo and behold, there you have it. I made those little asterisks. Those were superimposed later. You can't hardly tell because they look so well. But Connecticut is the #1 ranked state. You have to work from New Year's Day, where you're recovering from your celebration from the night before, all the way through April 27th. So we still have some more time, even though we paid our taxes now, till April 27th before you have paid, if you live in Connecticut, all your state, federal, and local taxes. I don't know, do we need to up that a little more to show we really care about people that are underprivileged? Would everything be solved if we worked maybe another month to pay all our taxes? I mean, to me, it's getting a little more. Connecticut, I found out tonight, is the highest per capita indebted state in the entire country. The highest per capita. I know. We're going to get to the visiting nurses. I just have to get this off my chest. I mean, there's concern about all the tea parties and potential violence and stuff like that. Reaction that's going on. And I want to tell you something. This is a call to arm because the Republican Party in Ridgefield is so mad and so upset about all this that we have planned a golf outing. Can we show that? Can we show that that graphic on the golf outing? This is a golf outing. I guess we're not allowed to, there. See, look, that guy, he is so upset he's actually hitting a golf ball into the sunset. I mean, you've got the Republicans riled up, and we're going to have ourselves a golf outing. We're going to raise some money, and we're going to back some candidates. So that golf outing, by the way, is June 30th. For any information, just call my cell phone, 438-2003. Oh, look, right there. All the information right there. We'll have a lunch. There'll be awards reception. I mean, these
crackers, wine, the whole thing.
Crackers. There'll be vodka tonics. There'll be like Diet Cokes for everyone. I mean, these Republicans are riled up. So anyways, Bethel, anyone can come in.
A caddy from Bethel?
We won't have caddies from Bethel.
What are you looking at me for?
That is a very, I don't know, no, not at all. Everyone's going to take carts. There aren't going to be any caddies. But anyways, I'm glad to be back. I watched all the shows on YouTube, and I thought they were great. And as usual, I have kind of a lot of hot air and just right-leaning ideas. But Al Robinson is here in the studio again this evening, and he will come with the facts. He has some very interesting information about how much these various candidates have actually raised. And so it's going to be a very interesting show. And by the way, I think our phone number, what is the number here?
The number here, the dial is...
Area code 203, we'll start there.
792-4101. So please call in with your questions.
792-4101. 792-4101, and we'll put that up too. So don't hesitate to call in. Okay, that is all by way of preamble. And we have this evening the very lovely Teresa Santoro joining us from the Ridgefield Visiting Nurses Association.
Thank you, Marty.
Thank you. Thank you very much for coming in. We really appreciate it. Now, you didn't bring in your bag any flu shots or mist things that will go up my nose or anything like that?
Not tonight. No,
okay.
I didn't.
So we're just going to talk in the theoretical realm about health care and what the Visiting Nurses Association does.
That sounds
And you
good.
won't actually practice any of this on me.
No. Now, I could have brought some if you wanted it, but...
I think you should have.
I took the flu shot before, which I guess is, from a public health policy, is a very important thing to do.
Absolutely.
But it really made me feel bad. I mean, not like the full-fledged flu, but I guess you just got to soldier up and take the hit, right? Okay. Anyways, all right, enough about what I want to talk about. Tell us a little bit about the Ridgefield Visiting Nurses Association. How long has it been in place?
Okay.
What do you do? What's your mission, and so forth?
Okay, thank you. I'd be happy to. The Ridgefield Visiting Nurse Association is a nonprofit home and community health service organization that is approaching its 100th year in Ridgefield, which
Wow.
is really remarkable.
Wow.
We're approaching our centennial. We have a staff of about 86 employees. We're at our third location in Ridgefield, and we service as north as Southbury and as south as Wilton. It's an organization that has three parts, if you will. Our mission statement is broken down into three parts. One is that we provide all medical services in the home care component, from nurses and rehab and social work and home health aides and homemakers and you name it, all the medical services.
Let me just interrupt right there.
Sure.
Now, is this primarily for senior citizens, or is it people that are recovering from surgery, or is it people with chronic health needs, or is it sort of all of the above?
That's a great question. It's all of the above. We service birth to end of life. So we'll visit women just after childbirth. We'll visit folks after surgery or with a chronic disease, terminal palliative care will provide, end-of-life services. So it really is all of the above, the broad spectrum.
I have 3 children, and by the time my wife had our third child, they were moving her out of the out of the hospital so fast. I mean, is that the trend you're seeing with the health insurance providers? Is they want you out of the hospital as quick as possible?
It absolutely is.
That's where you guys pick up?
It absolutely is. That's correct. And we just transition someone home and provide the services, the continuation of the services from the hospital to the home. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So now you have. There's a program that you talk about with quality living at home.
Yes.
And what's the philosophy behind that?
Oh, okay. Quality living at home is actually under the third piece of the 3 parts that I wanted to tell
I'm sorry,
you
I
about. That's
interrupted.
okay.
Go right ahead.
That's okay. The second part of RV&A is the community wellness and prevention services, and that's a group of free and reduced fee and fee-for-service programs where we go out into the community, such as our annual health fair, to keep the community healthy and offer screenings. We do monthly blood pressure screenings. The flu and pneumonia clinics that you refer to are under this section of the organization. We have a TravelWise program where we provide consultation and stock all of the vaccines that someone needs for a trip as mild as the Bahamas to as exotic as Africa. And then the third component is we work very closely with the Town of Ridgefield's Fire and Police Department and serve as the medical arm of the emergency preparedness team.
Okay.
We do tuberculosis investigations in town. If someone tests positive, we follow up, and all of the people that they've been in contact with. We have a satellite food pantry at our office. We have a small transportation program, which is a huge need in the community, where we, by volunteers, offer rides to folks to medical appointments or for treatments. So our services are really far-reaching in terms of health and human services.
As far as like what was it, the H1?
Yes.
What was it?
The H1N1.
H1N1.
Right.
Were
Yeah.
there any cases of that in Fairfield County?
Absolutely. I can give you a couple of national statistics.
Yeah.
The CDC confirmed the culture positive confirmation there were about 2,100 deaths nationally from H1N1 and about 41,000 hospitalizations. H1N1 came in two waves. The first was in early '08, if you recall, and it was predominantly in the schools. There were lots of kids at Ridgefield High School who were out with H1N1. And then a second wave came August through April of 10, and the statistic I gave you was for the second wave. So there absolutely were cases of H1N1.
Were there any fatalities in the state of Connecticut?
There were. I don't know a statistic, certainly not in Ridgefield, but there certainly were, yes.
And what were do you know what, as far as number of people that contracted the virus, or would it be called a virus?
It is. It's a virus.
And then what were the percentage that actually died from the virus as a result? Do you know what the statistic is?
I don't know what that statistic is. No, I don't know. But we were prepared. We were part of the Region 6 H1N1 team, Bethel, Reading, and Ridgefield, and we worked very closely with Chief Burford and Ed Briggs at the town.
I remember actually, now because it was the Venus building, there was actually a long line around the corner in the parking lot there, where people were coming in for their flu shots.
Yes.
When this was going on.
It was incredible.
And it was a limited number, it seemed like.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't so much a... it was a distribution issue. The pharmaceutical companies were distributing X amount of vaccine per week. So we had just so many each week. But you know, there was an onslaught of Ridgefielders and Readingites who wanted to be vaccinated.
Yeah.
We wound up having a series of 6, we had to install 6 phone lines to take appointments for H1N1. It was incredible. But we had a very successful program and vaccinated everyone who wanted to be.
Wow, that's interesting. Of all things, for better or worse, I spend a lot of time driving, so I'll listen to books on tape. And I just finished this book on the 1918 flu epidemic.
Yes.
That they talked about, and this was also in conjunction with World War I, and it was in the troops, and it went all around the planet, and it was just millions and millions of people actually died from this flu virus. And I mean, it isn't as if these viruses have gone away.
Right.
It's only through the good work of, you know, Visiting Nurses Association, the public health the structure that you have in place that avoids these kind of you know, death tolls that are just unbelievable. I mean, there was a real scare. I can remember President Bush was very concerned about this, the bird flu and how it was coming over, and I think they slaughtered, like, you know, 7 million birds in Hong Kong or whatever it was.
And I can tell you that the seasonal flu this past winter, nationally, the CDC estimated about 200,000 hospitalizations and about 36,000 deaths from the seasonal flu. So, you know, I know it was much higher in the time you're speaking of, but it's still significantly high. 36,000 deaths.
So
it's a staggering number.
Al, by the way, thanks for holding down the fort.
Absolutely, no problem at all.
And we're looking forward to these statistics in the second half of the show.
Oh, we'll talk about it.
But Al Robinson is the founder and author of Hat City Blog, and among other things. We had some questions.
Yeah, it seems you have a lot of great services with this organization. I'm just wondering, how do you get your funding to do all the things that you do?
That's an excellent question. We have an extremely busy development department to raise funds because we're a safety net for the under and uninsured, and we do provide a lot of free care both in the home and in the community. We have 2 very successful events, an autumn dinner and an annual breakfast, an annual appeal letter.
What's the big gala event that you guys have? Is it the Crystal Ball or something like that?
No,
what's the one?
No, our event is every October, and it's been at the Silver Spring Country Club. It will be this year as well, October 14th. And our speaker will be, by the way, the soon-to-be CEO of Danbury Hospital, Dr. John Murphy, and we have a sold-out crowd each year. So to answer your question, also grant writing. We depend heavily on grants, but it's a challenge. You know, in this environment, it's truly a challenge. But Ridgefield VNA has been able to maintain all of the free programs that we provide, and we haven't had to cut anything or reduce any free service. We've been very fortunate.
Now, you don't receive any funds from the municipalities, from, let's say, Ridgefield at all?
We are town supported as well.
Town supported, okay.
Yes.
All right. Now, because We're going to do a thing like that here in Danbury. We have what's called grant agency, which is the city will allocate a certain amount of money to go towards different agencies. And I know that one of the big things is that, I know you brought up about senior transportation to get to appointments, so that's a big need.
Huge.
And I'm sure if it's big in Ridgefield, it's got to be huge in Danbury, because Danbury has 80,000 people.
Right.
A lot of seniors need a lot of transportation. So it sounds like it's a great program that you guys are doing in terms of transportation as well as wellness, because you got to keep people healthy, or else if they get sick, you have a bigger problem.
Absolutely. And, you know, we're looking to reduce hospital costs, reduce readmission to hospital. It's really an exciting time to be in home care. The work that RVNA does will only increase in its importance because fundamentally healthcare is changing as a result of reform, demographics. We're living longer, reimbursement is changing. So home care is really a huge part of the future of healthcare. So it's a wonderful agency, and you're right about transportation. We're finding it a larger need. Yep.
Yeah, it's tough.
So quality living at home.
Okay.
You said this is sort of a component that you wanted to talk about.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. We, early 2008, we started examining the demographic shift with the aging baby boom population. We began looking at trends, both nationally, regionally, locally, and regionally in Boston. An Aging in Place program was initiated, and basically it was a bunch of seniors who linked arms and said, you know, we don't want to leave our community. We really want to age in place with dignity and a high quality of life. Let's help each other. Let's form some type of subscription model to help each other remain where we are. It was Beacon Hill in Boston, and it was very widely publicized. And that has spawned a number of programs in this direction. There are 5 successful programs as we speak in Fairfield County. So we thought, how can we bring this to Ridgefield? You know, Ridgefield is a town extremely rich in resources for seniors, but a senior may not have the knowledge of or access to all of the resources. So we established an Aging in Place program. It's free to seniors. There are a lot of programs in Fairfield County where it's a subscription model, like Beacon Hill, where you charge the senior, but it's free. And we've hired a coordinator, and we looked at what is it that keeps someone safe, healthy, and socially connected in their home. And this coordinator serves as the central hub, if you will. She's on call 24/7. If a senior has a non-emergency question, she would call. It's Eloise Barron, and Eloise will link the senior to whatever it is, the need, you know, whatever need the person has. We're building partnerships in the program. We've partnered with the police and fire. Every Friday afternoon, we're doing safety assessments, free in seniors' homes, checking for loose railings, the perimeter of the home, carbon monoxide, smoke detectors. And Chief Burford's wonderful. She brings them for free through a grant from the state, and right then and there replaces batteries. So it's a wonderful service. We've partnered with the Boys and Girls Club this winter and delivered small containers of ice melt to seniors, so they wouldn't have to lug the heavy 20-pound bag from the hardware store.
So you have a list of seniors and where they're living and who are involved in this program and what their needs might be. I mean, do you partner with Meals on Wheels and things like that, or?
Yes, we're beginning to, we've initiated an enrollment package, if you will, so we are collecting names. We've received over 500 calls since we've launched this program in August. And it's been incredible. We've just launched it in Reading, and we have a call line set up in Reading, and we're now partnering with some seniors in the town of Wilton who are looking to put a program together in Wilton. I believe it's called At Home in Wilton. And the calls will come directly to RVNA. But it's a means where a senior can make one call. If they have 12 needs, they don't need to make 12 calls. It's one central coordinator to link them to various resources in the community. We're also doing wellness and educational seminars for seniors throughout the town in Ridgefield and Reading. So it's really taken off.
Not to brag too much about Ridgefield, but there's a couple. There are two organizations that, well, institutions. Ballard Green is one, which is sort of a senior living, very independent.
Yes.
I mean, they have their own sort of townhouse, apartment,
It's
like
a clubhouse,
like a clubhouse.
Very nice.
They have their own doorbell and everything but it's in a community where it's all, there aren't a lot of heavy steps, and there's a community center in the middle, and it's right in the middle of town. So you can literally go from there and walk to the drugstore, walk to St. Mary's, walk to church, or what have you. And the other is this place called Founders Hall, and if you've never been in there, it's unbelievable. I mean, just the building that was put together, completely put together by private donations, and it was, I mean, the town provided the land, but they have computer classes, a bridge club. They have a billiard room that's just well appointed. And it's gorgeous. Yeah. And I think through the network of Meals on Wheels, Ridgefield Visiting Nurses Association, Ballard Green, Founders Hall, I think there's a nice network in the town of Ridgefield that keeps our senior citizens from staying here. I mean, from a fiscal point of view, your seniors are a very desirable group of people because they don't tax the town services, certainly not the school system, and you want to be able to have them live in their senior years and retire there, and the VNA is a big part of that.
Well, just to expand on that just a tad bit, you have seniors who are set up in those scenarios, but you have a lot of seniors who are set up in just homes, their own homes, and who need great need. I have an in-law who's in her 90s who needs a great deal of need. And
does she have Visiting Nurses Association or anything?
We have something
like that?
similar to that, and it's a great help because you have seniors who want to keep their independence.
That's right.
But they have a great need, and you'd be amazed at small things like making sure you have the right fresh batteries in your alarm systems, or making sure the railings are okay, making sure the bathrooms are equipped for
making
seniors.
Sure the dosages of medication are properly taken.
These are very important things, and once again, traveling from home to a doctor's appointment. These are real critical things that organizations like yours come in and fill a great need.
That's right, absolutely. And that's just what we do. We help maintain someone remain in their home. And it's the most cost-effective as well to the system at large, to stay in your home, in the place that you're most comfortable.
Okay, you have, if people want to help, I know we have the website that we put up. Is that the best thing, to go on the website and that's how they can get connected if they want to learn more information?
Absolutely. Go right to our website. It's up to date. It talks about everything that we do. Up there, I think it just went up for a second.
Okay, there we go. Ridgefield
VNA.org.
VNA.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, VNA.
Do you have a phone number as well?
Yeah, Ridgefield VNA.
Yes.
Yeah, what's the number?
We do. It's 438-5555.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah, it's an easy number.
So 438-5555 or ridgefieldvna.org.
That's right.
Okay, and in closing, you have an event that's coming up here?
Yes.
We want to plug that a little bit?
It's so exciting. We have been asked to serve as the Fairfield County regional host of the Nightingale Award event gala this year. And this was actually an idea created 10 years ago by VNA of South Central up in New Haven, and it's a gala, an opportunity to recognize some outstanding nurses and elevate the profession of nursing. Then in 2003 they expanded it to the entire state, and there are now galas in Eastern Connecticut and in Hartford, Fairfield County, and in New Haven. So we'll be hosting it this year. We're expecting close to 400 people at the Italian Center in Stamford. We have 97 nurses who will be awarded this very high honor. Ridgefield VNA has 3 of them, so we're very proud of our VNA nurses who will be receiving that award. And a result of the evening, apart from recognizing these outstanding nurses, is that we'll distribute scholarships, nursing scholarships, to the 6 local nursing schools in the county.
Wow.
And we have all 6 hospitals attending and sponsoring, so it really is a great recognition for the profession.
And what's the date of that?
May 11th.
May 11th,
yeah.
Okay. And tickets are available?
Tickets are available. Yes, they are. You could go to our website or call us at that number and find out more.
Okay, the number again is 438-5555. It's easy to remember. Our guest has been Teresa Santoro.
That's right.
And I want to just thank you very much.
Thank you
First of all,
very
for putting
much,
up with our little rant at the beginning, and just for adding a certain calmness and dignity to the set. I really appreciate it. Don't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
It was a lot of fun, and I appreciate being here.
All right, thanks a lot. All right, we're going to take a little break, and then the fur will fly because the amounts of money that these various candidates have raised are out, and we're going to look at that. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with Ideas at Work and Beyond. And that break I mentioned, it's not like we're going to take a break right now. We're going to take a break in maybe about like 10 seconds or so. So in the meantime, what I thought I would do would be interesting finger tricks. And it starts like this, where you go like that. And look at that. That's very hard to do. And if you come back after the break, I'll show you how to do that so you can wow your family and friends at the next party. So we appreciate it. I think now the break is coming right now.
second helpings. No streets paved with gold. No promise. No certainty. In this state, life is a bitter struggle to survive with the least. It's home to 1 out of every 11 families in America. It's home to 1 out of every 6 children in America. It's home to more than 32 million people. It's the state of American poverty. And if you were poor, you'd be home by now.
Why is it you two have so much trouble communicating?
I don't like the way he talks to me. He doesn't have to use that kind of language.
All I said was that you had a big osteo fight. Oh, okay. Well, what about the secrets you kept from me?
Oh, so I didn't tell you about my drug allergies. Big deal.
That could have been nasty.
Ooh. Okay. So how come I always have to go to your place?
I'd be happy to come to you, Judith. I can't fit the X-ray machine in my car. How's your shoulder doing, anyway?
Fine.
Yeah?
I worked up to 3-pound dumbbells yesterday.
Really? Huh. Just 3 weeks after surgery. That's pretty good.
Yeah?
Communication is the best medicine. A message from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons.
Well, now,
you know, I love those commercials for the United States Marine Corps. Any of you that are watching that series on HBO on Sunday nights at 9 o'clock called The Pacific, it's pretty rough stuff. But I guess it's fairly accurate about what they experienced and the battles that went on over in the Pacific to beat back the rising tide of the Japanese Empire and secure freedom really for the whole world. It's pretty impressive. And when you consider what the Marine Corps did, going one island, Guadalcanal, and then on, it's compelling viewing if you watch on Sunday nights from 9 to 10 on HBO. But we really appreciate our men in service. And they continue. Right now, Afghanistan, Iraq, still stuff going on. And we don't want to forget about it. It seems like it's been going on for a long time. At some point, you'd rather just declare victory, give these countries back to the people, and let them sort it out. But we really appreciate all the men in uniform that are protecting our freedoms all across the world. Okay, back to local politics. This is a very interesting time. We've had what some would say, my partner in crime here might not agree, but some would say that the administration in power now in Washington has forced through this health care program and tax grab, largest tax increase in the history of the United States, some have called it. And they've done it without the support of the people. And as President Obama has said, that's what elections are for. And right now, the Republican Party, and you can see it already with Democrats that are falling out. I think of Congressman Stupak that just looked at the polls in his district and said, you know, this is a completely untenable situation. Based on my flip-flop on this health care program and that vote, I've angered so many of my constituents. I'm not representing them. I'm just going to retire. And you're seeing that more and more, and yet we still have an election coming up in November, and it's very interesting to see how this is all going to shake out. Is the economy going to come roaring back? Is unemployment going to go down, and everyone's going to feel good about things, and all this anger that was stirred up is going to dissipate? Or is it going to continue to build? Today was they had a large Tea Party rally in Westchester County, I know they had, and in other areas. And if you look at the statistics, in the USA Today they had a poll that said it was comparable to what we saw in, I believe it was 1994. 1994 was a big turnaround vote, and then also anti-incumbent, anti the party in power in, say, 2006, for example. So it seems as if discontent is in the air. It seems as if there's anger, and it doesn't seem to be dissipating. It seems to be building, but we'll have to wait and see what the economy does and what this really means for people, and if they feel like they haven't been represented and that they're going to be looking for change. So on that note, on a grand scale, Al, you've been doing some research on the particular races, the particular candidates that are vying to represent their party, and the one scorecard that everyone can look at and agree on, it's very measurable, is how much money they've raised. And they just had a reporting side.
Yeah, well, let's go back just a little bit, because I think this reporting cycle clearly outlines why, in my opinion, as a progressive, I think public campaign financing is a good thing and should be the law of the land, and it should be supported and modified by both parties instead of vilified and criticized by one party. Because here's the situation. Okay. In order to qualify for public financing on a gubernatorial level, you have to raise $250,000 in $100 increments, no more than $100. So $100 or less, up to $250,000. So do the math in your head. If I'm correct, that's how many people? 50,000 maybe, or
give me the numbers again.
$250,000 in donations of $100 or less.
Okay, so that's 10 times 25. So you have to have 2,500 people give you $100 each.
Is it 2,500 or 25,000? Well, I think it's 25,000, but
no, it's 2,500 people. You have to give you $100 each. 2,500 people.
So you can't have any big whales give you money. That's how people usually get their cash. You get a couple of whalers, you get a couple of $1,000 donations or whatever they do. You can't get any more than $100. That means you're shaking the money tree. You're shaking the money tree. You're shaking the money tree constantly to a point where you're doing more shaking the money tree than getting your message out there in order just to qualify for financing. While on the other side, you got rich millionaires out there, such as Tom Foley and Ned Lamont, who don't have to go through this whole scenario.
It's interesting to hear Tom Foley speak, because he goes, Ned Lamont, he lives right down the cul-de-sac for me here in Greenwich. And, Ned, good show, Ned. Yes, you handle the Democrats, I'll handle the Republicans.
Well, look at it, though.
Let's have some fun with this showy good man.
Who are the front runners right now, Ned Lamont and Mr. Foley. And you know why? It's because they're able to, well, maybe not in the case of Mr. Lamont because of what he did in 2006. He already has a pretty good name ID within his own core of Democrats because, again, this is going for the primary. But Foley didn't have a great ID amongst a core of Republicans. He got his ID raised the same way Linda McMahon raised her ID, getting on the air early, TV ads, getting your message out there early. And, of course, what's the most expensive thing in campaigns is television ads. Yeah. Very expensive.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, he's able to get his face out there.
So you're saying politics is turning into a game for millionaires to play that have money to burn. They've had a successful investment banking or in Linda McMahon entertainment career.
Well, think about it. We have an individual who's running for senator, for U.S. Senate, who doesn't have a great voting record, doesn't have a great voting in terms of voting for in the elections record, but yet she's the front runner for the Republican Party. And we have an individual who was the ambassador to Ireland and did some stuff over in Iraq, but doesn't have a lot of stuff on the state level.
Hold on one second.
The front runner for the Republican Party. And you have probably more qualified individuals on both parties who are in a tough situation because qualifying for these public financing is just so astronomically high. They probably don't have a chance in hell of getting
cash a check. Caller, you're on the air.
Ja, wie geht es Ihnen? Ich spreche Deutsch.
Ja, ich kann gut Deutsch sprechen, aber was ist los?
Wie wunderbar. Welcome back. The show was substandard without you, Marty. It really was.
You know, I'm touched by that. But I watched it. It was pretty good.
I don't get anything from the joys of socialism, whether it be from our friend across from you or my friends from the Hat City. From the Fairfield County Weekly.
Our buddies from Bethel. Big T says hello. I guess.
From Bethel. He likes to say that. You know, these ding-dongs running for governor. Have you noticed, Marty, whether it be your blonde friend from Danbury or your Gumbada friend from Ridgefield or the other ones?
The other really bad thing is I know who he's talking about. That's really hurtful. But okay, go ahead.
Frank Mondes in red form.
What specifically are they going to do to get us out of this multi-billion-dollar problem that we're in? Nothing. Fountain's never addressing the problem. Well, how is he going to fix it? The what's his face from Greenwich there? What's your name? Your friend's name, Al?
Tom Foley, Ned Lamont.
Ned Lamont. Oh, well, we're going to bring jobs to Connecticut. No one wants to come here. Your Democrat legislator friends have turned this into the worst state in the world to do business in, Ned Lamont. What specifically?
You want to? Let me just, not to interrupt, but just let me throw this little statistic in there for you. Thank goodness for South Dakota, because South Dakota is the only state in the country that has produced fewer jobs than Connecticut, say, over the last 10 years.
There's nothing there.
Job creation is absolutely anemic.
But there's only 500,000 people there.
I know, that's what I'm saying, but if it wasn't for them, Connecticut would be dead last.
I never thought of it that way. Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, that's why Kentucky is so happy that there's Arkansas when you're looking at education.
And New Hampshire and Idaho are number one. They have the lowest paid teachers. Good luck with your bond. I understand you're still on the Board of Finance, right, Marty?
Yes, I am. On the Board of Finance, we just completed our budget. And contrary to what you read in the paper, it's not a 2% increase. It's a 1.98% increase.
We're going to have to get into that.
Are you still going to arbitration?
What's that?
Are you still going to binding arbitration for the school?
Yeah, most likely we will. But our budget gets voted on in a town-wide referendum.
Right.
Okay, well, good luck with the arbitrators. They're that's not balanced. All right, let you go. But get these people on. I want to know what they're going to do specifically to fix our state.
All right, we'll get them on. We'll get them on.
Frank Monda.
Caller, you're on the air. Yes.
Get a nurse on the show. Those visiting nurses are great people, aren't they?
They really are.
Hey, let me ask you a question. Are the Ridgefield residents going to see any tax increase from Marconi? I know he's running for governor. You think he's going to try to keep the taxes down? And one more thing. Is there any tax breaks that the seniors are going to get in Ridgefield? And thanks a lot. I'll hang up.
Okay. The seniors in Ridgefield get a senior tax credit. I think it's in the neighborhood of $700 or $800. It is not means tested. It's anyone over 65 gets that tax break.
Just off the bat. You just got to be over 65 years old and you get it.
I mean, what we were talking about with the visiting nurses group. We have Ballard Green. We have Founders Hall. We have a senior tax credit. Truth be told, Ridgefield is very good to their seniors. We're delighted to have them. They enhance the community, and we just want them to stay. And so we have that. And as far as Rudy Marconi raising taxes, I mean, if we can just keep this among ourselves here and not tell anyone.
And we won't tell anybody.
Because frankly, Mr. Marconi, though he comes from the opposing political party, he oftentimes behaves like a Republican. And when it comes down to running the town of Ridgefield, he has shown fiscal constraint, and especially during this recent economic downturn. He's done a really good job on that. So the townside budgets have consistently come in at or below 1% increase, and so I commend Rudy Marconi, but don't let that get out.
Quick thing while we're in Ridgefield.
Sure, a Republican could have done just as good.
Quick. One of the things I heard in Ridgefield a lot, this big thing with a full-time kindergarten. Yeah. Where do we stand with that? Is that still in play?
Full-time kindergarten, there's a very vocal group of people that want to have it,
right.
Led by the superintendent of schools,
right.
And they're the professionals, and they seem to indicate that this is where we want to prioritize our $77 million Board of Ed budget. So it was in their budget. Their budget increase was somewhere in the neighborhood of 2%. And yet they carved out $700,000 for all-day kindergarten.
How are they able to do that and keep teachers in the classrooms? I mean, they're able to just finagle things
all-day kindergarten added, I think, 6 or 7 full-time teaching positions. And yet,
really?
But the number of students enrolled in the Ridgefield school system, school-wide, is continuing to go down. So there's savings with that. And then also I have to give a good shout-out to the teachers and the teachers' union. They were called upon to step up in a big way in this most recent contract negotiation, and they really did.
Furlough days, give-backs?
It wasn't give-backs, but their regularly scheduled contract negotiations were coming up for their 3-year contract. So there weren't any give-backs on their old contract, but on their new contract, I feel it was very fair. They had a 1% increase the first year, and then it scaled up to like a 2 and a 2.5 afterwards. And one of the biggest things is that they agreed to entertain the idea of going to a health savings account, which is a huge savings to the town, and it also benefits the individual teachers as well. And there's a gentleman who's been giving educational classes on this, and they're hoping that as many as 50% of the teachers are going to migrate to the health savings account, which is a huge savings and help to the town. So my hat's off to the teachers. First of all, they do a world-class job in the classroom, and then also at a union level in these most recent negotiations, they really came in with some modest requests in light of the economic downturn. So it was a result of that and some other savings, some energy savings within the Board of Ed budget, that they were able to come in with a modest increase and yet request this full-day kindergarten. It's a $700,000 issue, and the budget still needs to be voted on town-wide. So we'll see. If the town says, okay, we can stomach a 1.98% tax increase and this seems okay, so be it. If the town comes back and says, nope, in these times, even that's too much, then we'll have to go back to the drawing board and see where they're more savings.
So in the end, we're talking about a tax increase for residents of
1.98%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Does that seem high or low? You say, wow.
Well, I just think it's, well, for instance, in Danbury, we're facing a pretty brutal situation in terms of education. It seems like the mayor's main target right now is the education system. As you recall, last year, I had Minority Leader Tom Soddy here and Paul Rotello, both from the Common Council, talk about some of the issues they had with the education system. Administrators, for instance, I don't know if you recall, administrators last year, 2 principals received a 9% pay increase.
I heard that, 9%.
Yeah, guess what they're doing? Guess what they're doing this year?
What?
Asking for another increase.
Another 9% increase?
No, just asking for another increase.
Yeah, I mean, look.
Is that a little crazy?
I mean, at some point, and there's, I always tend to look at things from 30,000 feet, but at some point the private sector and the public sector just have to get a little bit more on the same page.
Right.
And I think the public sector thinks of itself as working in some sort of a bubble, but they're not. I mean, you see what's going on over in New Jersey right now with the new governor. And he's saying, hey, the same old saw about, hey, it's for the children, and don't you understand, you know, the lunchroom worker needs a help. I saw Governor Christie, it's Chris Christie, right? I saw him on TV, and he said, you know, I don't think that my third-grade son in a class is going to learn any better or any worse if his teacher got a 1% or 1.5% raise or a 3.5% raise.
Right.
You know, and I think at some point, the public sector, and this is statewide in Connecticut too, has to realize that there has been an incredible economic downturn, and they're going to have to either do more with less, or they're going to have more modest increases in their programs, and primarily in their health care.
Yeah,
there just has to be...
Healthcare has always been a major problem.
Yeah, and I mean, the requests that they're having where, well, I guess as they were saying in New Jersey, you can have a public employee, a teacher, that from the day she enters the job until the day she passes away, because it's in their retirement, doesn't spend 1 penny on her own health care. There's no copay, there's no anything. And then other public service spend like 1.5%, which is unheard of as well. Right. I mean, at this point, there has to be some sharing of this, or you know, we're just going to run all these states into the ground.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what's going to happen here. And I don't want to get too far into the Danbury budget side of things, because I'm actually trying to work out a situation where I can get Councilman Sadi and some of the members of the Common Council, maybe some people from the Board of Ed, to come on and talk about this, because now we're in a situation where there's a possibility of Danbury losing 30 teachers, a possibility of an intermediate school closing down and moving the kids from one school to another school, drastic cuts in the education program that are going to affect teachers. It's going to affect kids, and that's the worst case scenario, when these things affect the kids. You never want that to happen.
Yeah, and in the same breath, you know, and I don't know all the details in the Danbury situation, but if you have administrators that are getting 9% increases, you know, I mean, right there.
Well, what do you need to know?
Well, yeah, that's really all you need to know. And everyone's crying, oh, the children, the children, the children. Wait a minute. You know, why don't you curb your request for raises, and then you wouldn't have to cut all these teachers or anything else. There was a guy who spoke tonight, actually. He was running for the 4th Congressional District, and he said in the private sector, he would meet in these manufacturing companies, like if they took an interest in a manufacturing company and they came in, like we're the new management, and they would have the guys on the shop floor come around and they'd say, okay, gather around here, we're going to talk about our budget and how you're getting paid. And he'd say, all right, who's the last one hired here? And they go, no, it's Henry.
Right.
So they go, okay, Henry, I'm glad you're in this meeting because we're talking about you. Because you're the last one hired, you're going to be the first one fired if we can't come to some kind of agreement on these requests for raises. And if we can't, then Henry, you know, good luck to you.
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to. And invariably the unions have sided with, I'm not giving back nothing, Henry's got to walk the plank, so be it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's good. It's certainly not good if you're Henry.
Well, it's not good at all.
Caller, you there? Caller, are you there?
Hello?
Good. Go ahead.
I got a quick question and out.
Yeah.
When it comes to
Hold on. It's R2-D2. Wait a second. I know I speak Martian. Hello? Yes? You're kidding. Obamacare has hit Mars? You're kidding. It's already there? You're fighting it off? Listen, there's nothing you can do.
This is live TV.
He'll pass it no matter what.
Live TV at his best. Please
Can
call.
you believe that? Obamacare has hit outer space.
Call back, please. Hold
on.
Unbelievable. But no, back to the education real quick. In the end, what bothers me, like I said last year, is when it affects the kids. Because these kids, they did nothing wrong. They don't deserve this type of stuff.
Yeah.
They deserve to be able to go to school, have a textbook, you know, and a pencil, and get a quality education.
Be in a classroom of 25 instead of 35.
You know, I mean, that's incredible. And when you're talking about dropping 30 teachers, which is obviously going to increase class size, and that's only going to be a problem.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, imagine you suddenly having 5 more kids to take care of.
Yeah.
You know, that's a little crazy.
Caller, you there?
We have a call?
Hello?
Well,
There's so much.
trying.
It could
Keep
be
trying.
the Martians, but you know, Obamacare apparently is hitting outer space now because there's some unfunded medical insurance that hasn't been paid, so they're paying now for the Martians. So if they have gallbladder surgery or something like that, you know, they're all set. Hello. No.
So basically there's going to be a public meeting on the Danbury budget this Monday. So if anybody, if teachers or parents have concerns about the education portion of the budget, like I said, there's going to be some drastic cuts, and you should be aware about what's going on. Get your tail down to the City Council, City Hall on Monday at 7 o'clock and speak your mind. Because this is affecting you, it's affecting your kids' education, and that's pretty important.
What's the time again?
Next Monday, 7 o'clock. It's going to be a public hearing on the budget. The city of Danbury is a little different from Ridgefield, where you have the budget goes before the people and they all vote on the budget.
There's a referendum.
Yeah. Cities are a little different. You have like public hearings, but in the end, the members of the city council vote on this. So
okay. Now we have Mayor Bowden. Right. And we have Rudy Marconi that are also running for governor as well. Carl, are you there?
Sure.
Okay, go right ahead. Sorry about it. Go right ahead.
Okay, I got a question and a statement. Okay, the question is, you were talking about, you know, getting the economy back on the track from the federal level and all, and with the deficit being so high. How are we going to get the deficit down if you don't create jobs, and jobs don't seem to be in the picture?
I agree. It's not about taxing the people more. You cannot lift up the wage earner by tearing down the wage payer. And I never once worked for a guy that wasn't a rich guy. So I think this attack against capital and this taxation of everyone does nothing but depresses the economy and hurts job creation. Is that kind of what you're saying? Are you there? See, I scared
That's exactly what I'm trying to say.
All right, no, I agree. I agree completely. I put up
pertaining to the school system.
I'm sorry?
I spoke to Tom Sadi today, my councilman.
Yes.
And I questioned something.
Yes.
If over 60% of our taxes goes to the school system.
You're correct.
My question to Tom was, I believe that if they taught American history back in school again and discontinued it, people would be more knowledgeable of what this country was built on, and they'd be more aware of what the federal government is doing to us. Take care, guys.
All right, I appreciate it. No, he's right. I mean, I think, capitalism and free enterprise. I love that satellite image of North and South Korea. It says it all.
Yeah. Well.
You want government control. You want totalitarian government. You want a nanny state where government's going to take care of everything. You got North Korea. You want free enterprise. You want freedom. You want all these tea parties, which I know you belittle. But they got this flag. Don't tread on me.
Yeah, that was actually a military flag at one point in time that's been hijacked.
During the Revolutionary War. Absolutely.
But to get back to the caller's question real quick, in most municipalities, and you can attest to this, that the lion's share of the city's budget or town budget will go towards education.
Yes.
It's just the way it is, because you have kids going to school, you have teachers who need to get paid to take care of your kids.
Yeah.
No, so it's always a problem in all municipalities. I mean, I think last year, or maybe a couple of years ago, you were locking heads with the unions, the teachers' unions and stuff. So it's always a rough deal, and you're dealing with a city that has 80,000 people in it.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of money going towards this education system, and it's just the way it is. Nothing much you can do about it. You got to teach your kids.
Yeah, no, I agree. You got to teach your kids, but I think to use your example and your numbers, when they're getting 9% increases,
crazy.
When everyone else is just happy they have a job and people are laid off.
Well, we also got to make sure to separate administrators from teachers. As you know, there was two different unions, and it's kind of unfair to lump them all together.
Yeah.
Basically, what it comes down to right now in Danbury is that, in my personal opinion, you have somewhat of a breakdown in communication between the Board of Education and the city council members, and the people who are getting stuck in the middle are A, the teachers, who B, care about the kids.
Yeah.
Because those are the people on the front lines doing the job, and they're doing an excellent job in Danbury. They're doing the best they can with the resources that they have. And these two major elected groups are just locking heads, and in the end, it's just going to affect the kids. Because now we're talking about 30 teachers are going to be possibly cut, including one teacher from the Alternative Center for Excellence, the ACE school, which you lose a kid. Look, people who know about the ACE school, I don't need to go much into it, but for instance, last night at the Board of Education meeting, the place was jam-packed with people who are all from ACE, coming, crying, pleading that please don't cut our teacher. This means so much to us.
Yeah.
You know, when you get to the point you have kids standing in front of the Board of Education, or next Monday I'm sure they'll be standing in front of the City Council pleading their cases.
Yeah.
You know, that's got to tear at your heart somewhat and say, hey, what's going on here? We got to come together and work for the common good, because again, in the end, it's about these kids.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what we have to remember.
Yeah, I agree. It is about the kids, and we want to have properly funded education. At the same time, though, the unions have to have a seat at the table.
They have to have a seat at the table. And they have to like, don't come in there so stringent and just hardcore. So like, I'm going straight to arbitration. To hell with this.
Yeah,
that doesn't help them.
I mean, because if you look at the piece of the pie, if you have a pie chart and you're saying out of every tax dollars, let's say 70 cents of every tax dollar goes towards education.
Right.
We'll make a pie chart out of that 70 cents, and out of that 70 cents, 80% of that is salary and benefits. Salary and benefits, and that's what it goes towards.
Right.
And so, you know, it's you know, I love teachers, I love children, I love flowers, clean air, and clean water. and so now that that's been established, we're all on the same page there. We really, you know, there just isn't enough money, and you need to look no further than California and what's going on, and something like 48 out of the 50 states are running deficits. You know, at some point, I always like to say that I don't know what they're doing in Hartford, I don't know what they're doing in Washington, D.C., but in Ridgefield, we're going to live within our means. And it's nice to have at least a modicum of control where you see some of the requests coming in and you can say, nope, we can't really afford that, we're going to have to do better. And just live within your means.
And also an open line of communication to come to a reasonable conclusion. Yeah. That's very important, just not locking heads, because that just doesn't solve anything.
Yeah. Well, listen, this evening we're going to talk a little bit about some of these local campaigns. Mark Bowden's in a campaign. Rudy Marconi's in a campaign. We've got Linda McMahon butting heads with a good guest on this show, Rob Simmons, who's been in often. I will be lunching with the aforementioned Linda McMahon this weekend in Wilton at LaHaye Grill in Wilton at 1 o'clock. Come on down. I'm assuming she's going to pay. Don't you agree?
Oh, she better.
You know, I think she should. Don't we all agree? I mean, I'm not going to go in there and pay for her chicken salad.
If she doesn't, just hit her upside the head.